Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And are stinky.
Hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys, just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basquill, and I love to not notice whenever people in front of me are showcasing new facial features. Fuck, that's awful. What I just said was awful.
Clearly planned. And I'm do you want to start over, I guess?
I mean, no, listen. We're here. We're in the middle of it, just like I was in the theater watching this movie. I was there. Right. I was in the middle of it. Can't start over. You know,
all right, we're rolling. We're doing it live.
You know, we're doing it.
All right.
Fuck it. We'll do it live. You know.
So I'm John Gilardi, and don't worry, they were just mercenaries. As I'm standing over a body of corpses. So please, there's a pile of corpses I've left behind, and then that's sad. So I don't know.
But we're not sad. They don't have lives. They're awful.
Yep.
Whatever. Fucking.
You have to know that they're pieces of shit. Anyways.
So what are we talking about today, John?
We're talking about the cinematic experience, known as Morbius, the latest Sony Marvel film, starring Jared Leto as the titular character Morbius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael.
It's Michael Morbius, because you gotta have the double. You gotta have the alliteration. You know, you got Clark Kent,
they loved those.
Peter Parker.
They love those. Bruce Wayne.
Yep, nailed it.
Bruce Wayne.
But yeah, so of course Michael Morbius. He's a anti-hero, I guess, is the angle they're playing here. I think he is a villain from the Spider-Man universe. He's kind of a deeper, like, common knowledge, like mainstream, like me consumer of whatever's like out there and popular comic book stuff. Like Morbius wasn't on my radar, so I think he's a Spider-Man villain. Anyway, so it's like a origin story for him, and he's a doctor with a blood deficiency, and it's not really clear.
Well, hold on. He's not he has a blood disorder. He's not deficient in blood. I just wanted to clarify.
His blood is deficient in a way that makes him.
His blood is deficient of being good for his body.
Yes.
You know, if that's a way to say it.
And so he's like this doctor, and he's like had this like mission in his life to find a cure for him and his buddy Milo,
whose name is not Milo.
Yeah,
he did that. That was like he did that as an insult in the beginning of the movie, and then they were just like, he's like, actually, this insult you did to me is now, I feel good about it.
Yeah, it's a weird badge, because it's not. It's like, I'm gonna wear this badge if you call me Milo because I'm the one that lived. I don't know what the insinuation there is. It just doesn't make sense. It is an insult, but he keeps it. So like,
it started as an insult.
What's the idea there?
I don't know, but
anyway, so he becomes a doctor. He promises them they're gonna fix this issue, and he becomes a doctor, Nobel Peace Prize, and he creates artificial blood, which is a big breakthrough for obvious reasons. But it's still not enough to save him and Milo, and so he starts pushing the ethics of science, and is essentially like chimeraing, like splicing bat blood. There's some scientific like BS reason why this particular bat works, but and then he injects himself with it.
It's a vampire. Hold on, it's a vampire bat, so it's the only animal that saliva coagulates blood. That I'm saying that word wrong, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's right.
Coagulates? Coagulant. Whoop.
I think they consume blood, right? Like they live off of blood.
They do consume. It's actually, I'm pretty sure that they're more like piranhas. You know, it's like any sort of meat eater. Like, I think yes, but only because they are so small. I'm not a vampire bat expert, but I could become one really fast by doing
using the World Wide Web.
With our first sponsor today is Wikipedia.
Wow.
Sponsor. They're always asking for money, and they decided to give us some of it to try and get you to try and get you to support them.
That makes sense.
It does. I feel like if you check out the if you check it out, the logic works. But yeah, they here you keep talking, keep telling them about this movie.
And anyway, so he injects the blood, and then he takes on those things, and he becomes essentially a Batman, I guess, like an actual Batman. And
maybe that's what maybe that was the origin of like the like they're like, we need a Batman, and they're like, well, what if he's just like an actual Batman?
Could be. I mean, that totally, I could see that at a meeting.
And then someone in the writer's room was just like, that's a vampire, you idiots. Like, well, we'll just make him a vampire. Don't be an asshole, Craig.
Yeah, vampires are just Batman. It's like so obvious, but you don't think of it. Because vampires are vampires, and the Batman is the Batman. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't...
Yeah.
You don't think of the overlap there. And there's got...
They're not the same, but they are.
I bet there's some comics or something with vampires with Batman. That'd be fun to explore, like a
I know that there's
Batman.
I know that because Dracula is... he's like open... what is it? Free use? Not free use. That's not... Hold on.
Something domain.
Yeah. Free domain or something. I know that Batman has hung out with Dracula.
Yeah.
Once a common vampire bat locates a host, such as a sleeping mammal, it lands and approaches it on the ground. It then likely uses thermoception, that looks like a made-up word, to identify a warm spot on the skin to bite. They then create a small incision and then lap up the blood from the wound. They got thermosensation.
Maybe that's what they try to...
Oh my gosh, this is fucking cool as shit. If there's fur on the skin of the host, the common vampire bat uses its canine and cheek teeth like barber's blades and shave away the hairs. The bat's razor-sharp upper incisor teeth make a cut, and then they drink it. So they're like little surgeons. They're not like... Yeah, the bat saliva left in the victim's resulting bite wound has a key function in feeding from the wound. The saliva contains several compounds that prolong bleeding, such as anticoagulants that inhibit blood clotting, and compounds that prevent the constriction of blood vessels near the wound.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what they take for his power is pretty much just that he needs the blood to quell him from busting out into beast form, essentially. So he kind of like...
Yeah.
So when Jared Leto's Morbius takes the serum, they're on like a boat. They're in international waters because they're doing an illegal thing. And they're on a boat with mercenaries, and he takes and he like hulks out and he kills all the mercenaries. He's like, what the hell am I doing? And then...
He's like, what? Who am I?
So
Who
then the
am
blood
I?
Suppresses the beast mode getting out of control, and then he starts taking his fake blood, the synthetic blood he makes, and it quells him. But the efficiency of it quelling the beast mode is going away, and so he's like a good guy because he only kills mercenaries, and he doesn't want to drink actual blood, and so that's like the kind of most interesting conflict there, and it's not really that interesting.
Yo, and I was thinking about this, like as I was watching the movie, whenever. So here we go. You know, we're 9 minutes in or whatever, and I was in there watching this movie, and I remember I was thinking about how we watched this other movie that was. You know, I had similar feelings on, and it was called The Interview with a Vampire, where one vampire was like, "Ugh, I'm a disgusting animal. I hate myself," and then the other vampire was like, "Bro, you're just a different being now. Just why don't you just want to hang out with me and party with me? Like we're good. We can be good friends." And like. That yes, like it's the same for me, and I was like, again, the murder not good. You know, I never want to. You never want to like have a take that's like nice. I think that that Lucian Milo was the good guy. But
Milo was right.
Milo was right. But
Make the fan
there's-
club of like 5 people on Facebook. It's
Yeah,
like a very avid group who love this movie and think
I
Milo
started
was
it. I'm
right.
started. I've actually started it already.
Please do.
But like it's just such a like I don't. It's just like it feels stupid. It just like is like it just feels it frustrates me because maybe because I'm awful, but I'm like, yo, just like don't be an asshole about it. And if like you guys are like not like you're superhumans now, if you like it doesn't have to be extremes.
I mean, how would you farm blood?
I would be a doctor. And I would be like, okay, yeah, test subject 1 turned me into a vampire. I think that there's something here though. Maybe instead of throwing it all away, there's some sort of thing and I just like have to be careful. And maybe I can save my friend. Don't throw it away just like out of hand because it didn't work like the first time. Is that good science, John?
I don't know. I mean, I
No.
think as a leading scientist and potentially very rich man, I guess his solution could be, I mean, he's producing synthetic blood, so it wouldn't make sense for him to like start a conventional blood bank, but he could do it under the guise of research.
Yeah.
Or something.
you could-
And, like he does have a bank of real blood in his freezer or something, his giant freezer room, walk-in freezer.
Yeah.
So he has it. So he has access to it. So it's like, honestly, like that's a weird introduction of morals they try to bring in because it's like yeah, because he's essentially having withdrawals, and he like goes to drink blood, and this is like the first time he realizes, oh, this might be the fix, and he like goes for the real blood, and he's like, no, I'm gonna go for the synthetic blood because I'm not a bad guy, and it's just
Yeah.
like, what's the change there? This is a blood that's already collected, and it's,
Yeah.
in theory, only going to be used for research, I would presume, by being in there. So you're not like taking it from someone who could use it in that setting.
And then
and it's just like it's such a weird force of morality that they're trying to shove into our face. Like, no, he only drinks fake blood that's already taken it, like that's already there next. I don't know. And then it's like only kills mercenaries.
because
it's just so dumb.
because they're scared of being of having him be a bad guy,
which is
like
so weird.
well, and that's like it's. And we can get to the fucking worst part of this movie later. But it's like one of the things that Marvel has done a really good job of that nobody, or in some cases, not always, but like for characters like the Vulture, where it's like he is not a good guy in the Homecoming movie. He's not a good
Yeah.
guy. But you know what he's also not? He's not a fucking remorseless killer. Same with Thanos. He's sad whenever he kills Gamora, but he's got a different oh my god. Like he's got a different like adjusted ceiling for morals and those things, and like he perceives himself as a god, so he's got all that stuff, and that creates an interesting character. And then same with the Vulture in the Homecoming, where he's like, I'm just trying to get by. I'm trying to get by.
He's like blue collar
and then
dad, right? That's kind of the vibe.
Yeah. He's a blue collar dad. He's doing the thing, and then I think at one point he just dusts some dude, and I think he didn't know that the thing was going to do that, and then also it's like you're fucking with the bit. It's like the same way that Tony Soprano is a good guy. He's not a good guy, but it's like creating a moral quandary for a person that is a bad character, like that is a bad person. But is not a monster. Like I don't know. There's always an interesting thing whenever you, and I think like, and this is maybe funny, but it's like DMing for D&D games has really given me sort of like perspective in this in sort of a weird way as far as storytelling goes, where it's like there's a difference between the monster that is like, yo, I'm a monster who's in the woods who's here to kill you. And then versus like a character that it's like, yo, I have wants and goals, And right now, I am definitely trying to get these gems to put them in my dead father so that he comes back. Yeah, my dead father was definitely like a king and did bad stuff, but like, you know, I want my dad back, and I'm kind of willing to do anything to get it. And it's like the difference between that and still doing bad things and then just being a mindless, like a monster to be defeated.
Yeah. But I think, yeah, so that, I mean, I think this movie has the opposites of, or not the opposites, but both of the bad of what you're saying, or like what you're saying is ideal. And this movie has two examples of the opposite of like the not ideal. And that is obviously Morbius, where they're trying to make him interesting with his motives, like a bad guy with like interesting motives. And I guess it's like, he does, but it just gets us to the...
But they're not consistent.
Him having the power. Because, like, it's like, oh, yeah, he's like a doctor, and he just wants to help people with his condition, like sick children, himself, his friend. He wants to do this, and he does it by doing this immoral science with bat blood. But that's the movie's setup, you know? But
it's a sacrifice, so he does it on himself.
Yeah, and it's just... It doesn't work as the kind of gray moral character. And then on the bad guy in this movie is Milo, who just all of a sudden becomes just like fucking bloodthirsty, and he sees that his friend is like kind of jacked and walking like regularly because they have like walkers, because I guess they're weak from their condition, and he's like, what the fuck, man, I need that, it's working for you. And Morbius is like, no man, this is not good, trust me. But like Milo is just bloodthirsty and then like takes it, and he just becomes a total fucking dick. And he's just like a bad dude, and that's it. Like he's just like, he's bad because it's like a repression thing. Like, I have the power now, I'm just gonna have fun. Which honestly is lame, but it honestly works better than them trying to make Morbius this gray like anti-hero villain thing.
Yeah. Well, I think too, something else like with that, going back to sort of my original sort of point, was like, yo, if Michael Morbius had been like, hey, let's be on the same team and let's figure this out together. Like, you took the vial from me, you like kind of like dick me over, and like that's annoying for me because you were my friend and I told you not to do this stuff. And like that's like kind of like a big breach of like trust or whatever. But in this moment, I can't undo what you've done. And you are my good friend that I have this, 30-year relationship. I have no idea how old we are. But we have this relationship, and you are healthy again. I'm also healthy. And so like, let's figure out what our rules are as two vampires, because that's what we are,
Yeah.
So let's figure out the rules and let's be friends forever and see what we can do while not being callous monsters.
That's true. It's like the weird guilt of Morbius drives him from dealing an absolute. I mean, and then I don't know how to explain how Milo logically gets that absolute in terms of the script, but like, I'm not like saying anything.
Makes sense.
I'm more just like posing like what are we I just don't understand honestly, how we're explaining the rival to these thoughts, and what we're trying to say with that.
So
the answer is it's just trying to push plot. I think
it's just trying to push the plot. But I think that it makes like, here's the thing. I feel like in this movie, it is probably an unfortunately accurate, like, depiction of an early comic origin story, or like an origin story that is like showed in like flashbacks, and like it's like you only like, how like when you get like the villain's origin story, like in Blackbeard, where it's like we only have like in the Our Flag Means Death that we talked about last week. It's like we only get those flashbacks, and that's how you tell the villain's origin story. And so like in the flashbacks, they're really dramatic. But then if you put them all together, like they make a little bit less and less sense as you see like the connective tissue that gets there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like,
because
it's
ultimately
like,
those flashbacks are told there to tell the story of now, obviously to give the character background. So maybe that's why it's disjointed if you put them back to back.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, well, and then also like in the scene where he transforms and like the logic of the like fucking officer guy, the logic of the officer guy going in there and being like, I'm going to check like there's these mercenaries on the ship. And first of all, like for me, if I'm a mercenary getting paid to be on this ship, wait, first, again, let me go back. Zero, why do they have guns? Why do they have guns? Why does he bring his weapon into the lab? Why is he so antagonistic to her? Like, if she is, I'm assuming they're mercenaries, they're paying for this fucking container ship, and they're getting paid to do a job, and he's antagonistic of the people who are paying them. It's like, what fucking 90s movie did this get ripped out of? Like,
ass writing. Not bad ass writing. Like, it's just bad fucking writing. Because it's absurd. Like, I mean, the only connections I can, or the line of thinking I can try and rationalize is, this is such a weird, seedy, immoral experiment that the only people ship they could get are these shitty mercenaries.
Yeah,
maybe,
sure.
But then again, that obviously exemplifies the whole idea that they want us to know that these are shitty people. So that when he kills them, it's okay. It's just so fucking dumb.
It's such a dumb move. Like, why are you bringing your firearm into the lab with this person that you don't know? Why do you have it? What is the threat there?
They're no threat. They're they're doctors.
They're doctors. They're not the threat. They're also the people who are paying you to be there. Why is he antagonistic to her? Why is any of that happening? Why do they? I mean, it's just bad. Also,
like, I think you are pretty interestingly on spot. Like, this plays off like a old comic book origin story.
And so that's what I'm saying. It's like, if you don't have those connective tissue, like if you say our panel is just like we go in with her and like she's like setting up the test, she's setting up the test, and that's our like first panel or whatever. And then like our next panel is the guy coming in or he's in there, it goes wrong, and it's just like we get like it's a blur, and so it's like we did the test. Like, it's like him, he's like on the top of the thing, and he's like, oh, we did the test. I still don't remember much of that night, but I know that at the end of it, like, it's just like him getting strapped in, and then it gets to him being like a monster. Like, it cuts to that essentially. And then it's like having that connective tissue where it's like all there. It's like it feels fucking stupid as shit. Also, pretty sure she would have brain damage if she was unconscious for that long.
I mean, they definitely tried to. I thought like she died, to an extent, and then obviously, she's breathing. But it's just, and obviously they wanted us to think that, because even Morbius is like, he checks her breathing, and it's just like, why are we introducing that drama?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's dumb. And then again, she's just a prop. She's just like a classic, like, bad example of a female character in a movie.
Yeah.
But it's not even like a knock on the writers being bad at writing a female character, because they just didn't write a good story. And like,
yeah. And then
the movie isn't offensively bad is the weird thing. Like, it's very bad, don't get me wrong, but it's not offensively bad. And it I think its worst offense is that it's very fucking dull. And so I want to just, in terms of me, I want to clarify that, like, this isn't a good bad, or a bad good rather.
Yeah.
Either way, Venom. Venom's a perfect example. Has charm. It's ridiculous. The things that are bad are actually just funny and endearing. And it wasn't those. I mean, that wasn't by design, but that's just how it turned out. And they were able to capitalize on in Venom too. So, I mean, they can do it on purpose.
And they played into the style of it.
Yeah.
And
I'm honestly like I had super low expectations, but I was very disappointed that it wasn't offensively bad. Like I wanted to laugh at Jared Leto looking ridiculous, which he did, and I did laugh a few times, but I didn't in the way and as much as I hoped for. You know,
It's honestly just not a good movie. Like it's just not a well told story. It's just like really weirdly put together. Like even from the beginning, like we go from the beginning where he's getting the bats, and then we go back to the past, and then we go back to the future, and we have like a little thing of him getting the Nobel Prize, and then he's there, and then it's like, and then they're doing the tests and stuff. So they like in a one sense they get into like the story relatively quickly, which is cool, I guess. But then they do a shit job with that story. You know?
Yeah.
Like they get to him being a vampire pretty fast, and then it just kind of circles the drain from there, waiting to get flushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
also, he's just incredibly OP just from the very beginning.
Yeah, there's no struggle in terms of learning. I mean, and it's also like, what's the autonomy there? And like, honestly, like obviously they're very much like communicating like, okay, so doesn't have much autonomy. Like he goes into beast mode, he sees red, you know, and the drinking the blood suppresses that. I guess then he learns to use the power at will, and then so then he can go into beast mode whenever, but he's in more control. But it's just like, I don't know. Did I misunderstand that?
No, dude. I mean, I don't think that there's any sort of logic to it, bud.
Yeah. And anyway, so it's just ridiculous. Like, what is the drama here? Maybe, I guess it does show him losing his ability to walk without you having the blood. So I forgot about that. So there is drama there. There is motivation there. So that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess, but it's still, the autonomy thing isn't clear. And then
and his level of control over his powers is unclear.
Yeah, exactly. And like, why can he still do a lot of things that's just chilling, dude? With the serum, like the echolocation and the athleticism and all these different things, but then he has to like turn into ugly bat creature to do other things.
Yeah,
it's just also, a very strange. I think honestly, you hit on earlier when you said like this feels like this is why comic books shouldn't be adapted 1-to-1. This is an example of that. You know, not that this.
And again,
is
I don't even know if that's
a comic, but it feels like that. Like it just feels like things aren't working.
It really doesn't.
Adaptation.
Like it definitely feels like we get to like these are the flashbacks that they should have used in the Spider-Man versus Morbius movie or whatever the fuck, or or Morbius versus Venom, where it's just like, hey Venom, guess what? There's a vampire who's like chilling and being like bad and stuff, and like Venom is like, blah, 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 I'm Venom, and then like. Throughout the course of their thing, as we're like discovering more and more about Morbius, that like these are the clips that we see. We see him getting the injection. We see him. I had to kill my best friend, and it's just like it doesn't play as well if
we see all this boring shit.
Yeah, if you see all the connective tissue that's like, wait, why the fuck? Wait, why? Yeah, it's just very. And I wonder too. I had this thought because when this movie supposed to come out? When Morbius supposed to come out?
Sometime in the pandemic.
When Morbius supposed to come out?
Morbius. I don't know.
Morbius was supposed to come out July 31st, 2020, which means that it was probably filmed in late 2019. It was filmed in late 2019. Morbius, resume your journey. So it was supposed to come out in 2020, and I wonder how much of it was pushed because of, I mean, obviously the pandemic, but also like, oh shit, we got this whole bat thing.
Like the Batman.
You know what I mean? No, like because wasn't COVID started because, or supposedly, especially at that time.
I'm sure that was a thought. That's interesting. I don't know.
But it's just also like, man, why? It's just a bad movie, and it's like
It
a
shouldn't
bad.
have happened, and like Jared Leto can be good, but like no one likes him, and like I don't think there's Jared Leto fans, and I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe there's people like
I'm
the
sure
band
you're
and they've
wrong.
been following him. I don't know. I think like the general internet pulse at this point, which obviously has influence. I mean, look at Sonic, is that like
Yeah.
fuck this dude, you know. Especially after the Joker, at least in the superhero space, and so it's just questionable. It's like a shitty character, you know. And I'm not confident in what they're going to be able to do with this character going forward. It's not clear how, you know, the Sony Marvel Venom ties into Spider-Man. It's not even clear where Tom Holland is tying into anywhere, either side of it anymore. And then we have Morbius, who then is introduced to Michael Keaton's Vulture at the end in the post-credit scene, which is, you know, maybe I'm bringing it up early. Fuck it, let's go into it. Like, it's just like, what are we seeing here? Like, what are we going towards? And it's like, after watching this super dull movie and then this post-credit scene where the change of tone is insane and like, I'm not following it. So like, why is Michael Keaton blipping in through the Doctor Strange spell to another universe?
To that universe.
Yeah,
like,
to that.
why?
Like, why is he transforming universes? You know?
Yeah.
And is that because, is that happening? Does that mean Michael Morbius is in the MCU and that's that's an alternate version of like a very slightly divergent path timeline Vulture, you know? Like, that's logically the one that makes sense, but then that's just disappointing that means we have Morbius in the MCU and Venom isn't, because Venom left the MCU because he was in there for a second with that the No Way Home thing. So,
I think that this means that Vulture is in the Spider-Man universe. The SSU or SCU or whatever the fuck.
So he's coming to...
So for whatever fucking reason...
I mean, that's what makes sense with like the business side of it. But like... Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
But so for whatever reason, and again, it's like, this is clearly like business fuckery versus storytelling fuckery. Because it's like, all right, we've like got Adrian Toomes in the MCU, and we've got a good Adrian Toomes in the MCU. Let's bring him to the Sony Spider-Man universe and create the Sinister Six thing that we've wanted all along, for Spider-Man to fight.
Like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man? Is that like who you're referencing?
No, dude, I don't know who's Spider-Man, because I honestly, I have no idea. Like, is Peter Parker, is Tom Holland Peter Parker, is he in this Sony Spider-Man universe, or is that Andrew Garfield, or are you casting a new Spider-Man? What are you guys doing? I think that this, including that incredibly confusing and also stupid storytelling-wise, fucking Adrian Toomes, Michael Keaton thing.
Yeah.
I think that was the worst move that they could have made, including it in this movie. Because 100%. This movie's garbage. They already put it in the trailer because they were excited about it then. But, like, it's an awful, awful move, because now you have a good character in the Adrian Toomes Spider-Man. It's just like, it's just like so baffling, because I think one of the reasons that you sit on this movie for forever is because it's garbage. And you eventually hope and pray that it'll hit after the success of Venom 2. But bro, I mean, and maybe it did. I don't know if it's going to be a flop because people are like, this sucks. We love it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think it has that charm. It doesn't. Like, I'm normally pretty like I'll watch most movies again, and this isn't even the worst movie I've watched. But it's just like I won't watch this again. Like, it was dull.
It's just a bad movie.
Yeah, it's a bad, dull movie. And again, so you have a dull movie, and then you have this very confusing post-credit scene that you're like, wait, where the fuck is this? Is this Vulture? Which Vulture is this? Which universe are we even in?
And so they let him out, and how did he build his suit again that was based off of Tony Stark technology? Where did he get his stuff again? Why is he already suited up in his stuff?
And then
how long did it take him to make that?
Why does Morbius feel like a villain? Why is he evil now? Like,
why does Morbius
now he's evil
give a shit
after you've
about
been
Spider-Man?
trying to? Why is he evil now that you've been trying to convince me for 2 hours that he's a good guy? It's just like there's so many levels of why this builds distrust and a lack of confidence in Sony's ability to make these movies. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
oh god,
I'll say
ridiculous.
Too, it's also like it's now reaching the point of damaging almost to the Marvel sort of thing, because it's like, wait a second.
Well, it's because they're pulling in their moves and insinuating in crossovers, you know?
Yeah, and then also it's like, hold on, why did Doctor Strange send fucking Adrian Toomes? How did he get sent in that spell? Like, this calls into the question, like the like, you just like, you don't want to do anything to poke holes into something that's already flimsy to begin with, but it stands on its feet because of the emotional like connection that you have with the No Way Home.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we really want to, we can poke holes in stuff, but it's like, we don't need to. But this is like, it feels like Sony's like, all right, well, we got carte blanche. We can bring in whoever we want now. And I'm sure there's some like complicated deal making stuff that's like happening, but it's also like, it really like it makes things stupid, I think.
Yep. No, it definitely does. There's 2 end credit scenes, right?
I think so. Where there's the one where Adrian Toomes is hanging out, and then
it's not really an end credit scene, but the love interest becomes a vampire. It's like,
yeah,
duh, that's how it works.
Cool. Morbius end credits.
Morbius post credit scene just made Marvel history.
How many are there? Do they set up a sequel? Yes. Like, it's so fucking garbage. It's so garbage.
I saw
and
someone
I hate
post
but
a picture on Twitter, and it was like their local theater had like a little like sign, and it had all the movies showing, and it had, does it have credit scenes? Yes, and where? And it's like, God damn it, Marvel!
Wow,
like, you've normalized this. It's fun in Marvel's sense, and I like it because it's like usually a pretty fun, satisfying experience. Ooh, I'm getting a couple more teases, you know?
Yeah.
It's cool. Like, it works. At the same time, I hate it. And the reason I hate it is perpetuating through other things. And I think, again, I might have said this at some point, but like when people were hanging around after The Force Awakens to see if there's a post-credit scene, I was like, come on. Don't be ridiculous. But now that's happening in Star Wars properties, you know, with the Book of Boba Fett. And I think there's like that was teased through The Mandalorian at the end. And then at the end of Book of Boba Fett, we have a Cobb Vanth tease that he's alive in the Bacta tank. And it's like, okay, we're getting a Cobb Vanth show? Like, what are you saying? Like, what is that communicating?
Also, that's just like, hey, just kill him.
Yeah.
Just kill him.
I mean, I like Timmy Oliphant.
I love him. I love him. You know what I'll say?
And I don't dislike Cobb Vanth, but I don't love Cobb Vanth. And I don't think they're giving us that. I'd rather have seen Bane or Cad Bane in that thing. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
what did you like? Can you tell me what you liked of this movie? Is there anything you can dig out?
honestly, I like Matt Smith. I want to see Matt Smith in more stuff. I think that this
Is that the Milo guy?
Yeah,
He's the bad guy in that.
he's
that
not
one
though.
time travel movie.
Well, yeah, he is sort of.
right?
Yeah, he is.
What was
In
that movie called?
Last Night
Did
in
we-
Soho. Last
Yeah,
Night
we
in
did.
Soho.
We covered that, right?
We covered it. We
What
covered
else
it.
is
It
he
was
in
there.
though?
Matt Smith. He was a Doctor. He was a Doctor Hugh.
Oh,
He also originated the role of Patrick Bateman in Duncan Sheik's adaptation of American Psycho for the London West End.
huh?
Yeah.
What a guy. What's his name? Matt Smith.
Matt Smith. I mean, that's probably one of the reasons, too, is that he's just like, his name is Matt Smith. But he's a Doctor Who. He's a Doctor Who, and he's like a British actor who does good stuff. But
I mean, he
mainly,
could be fun in a Harry Potter. That's something interesting. That whole series, the movie, and J.K. Rowling and her
yeah.
weirdo and
A
jerk.
turf? Isn't that
Yep.
what it's called?
Yeah, trans-exclusionary racist feminist.
Racist. Okay.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. I could look it up, though. I'm the guy in the chair today.
I mean, that sounds like her.
Yeah.
She's definitely trans-exclusionary, but she's also
A feminist who excludes the rights of transgender women from their advocacy of women's rights. What does it stand for, though? TERF.
What's the
I know
R?
there's a definition.
Oh, radical feminist. Trans-exclusionary radical feminist.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
Put that together, bud. Great job.
I mean, forgive me for thinking that she might be a little racist because like turf is associated with her.
Yeah.
But it's a
Yeah.
Cho Chang, and which isn't even a. I don't know about Chang, but I think Cho isn't an actual Chinese name. it's just like it's like such old world like offensive Asian humor almost. It's like
Yeah.
adjacent to that is her making up that name Cho. And then of course that actress was treated like shit on set too.
Oh wow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Here's the thing.
So you like Matt
let
Smith?
I do like. I like Matt Smith. I like him. I like Jared Harris. Also connection to Harry Potter. There is Jared Harris is
That's Slughorn?
Richard Harris's son, who played the first Dumbledore.
Oh.
Look at that. Look
Jared
at that.
Harris? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Jared Harris.
Is he the doctor guy?
He's the doctor guy.
Yeah, I do like that guy.
He's
in
Moriarty.
He's in what's it called?
Game of Shadows. He's Moriarty.
Chernobyl.
Yes, he is in Chernobyl.
Yeah, I like that actor from what I've seen him
He's
in.
also in Mad Men. He's really good in Mad Men.
Oh, Mr. Deeds too, apparently.
I don't know about that.
It says what he's in.
But yeah, I honestly I don't know what else I liked about this movie. I liked that it was over pretty fast. It felt like
It's over pretty fast, but it doesn't pace well.
It doesn't pace well.
I guess I can give the movie the compliment that I didn't laugh at Jared Leto as much as I thought. So
I feel like that's a disservice because I feel like you should.
I should have.
You should have.
But in terms of
feel
Jared Leto's self-esteem and ego,
yeah,
I think he's getting off pretty good. if that
Okay,
makes
something
sense.
I liked. How about this? Try this one on for size. I liked the secondary detective.
Yes, that guy was great.
I liked but the main thing that I liked purposefully is that he felt like he was in the movie that he should have been in. Like he was like, I'm aware of how shitty this is. I'm playing into what we're doing here. And then also there was one line in there. That he was like, I'll go in and check. He said this to Tyrese. He said, I'll go in there and check so you don't have to move. And then throughout the whole movie, like Tyrese, it feels like they shot all of their stuff over the course of like 3 days. Because
Probably.
Tyrese just like shows up and is like, I'm the lead detective. And
Well,
he kinda,
the characters are completely useless, and the fact that like they don't do anything, and then they're constantly here investigating like aftermaths, and they're mainly there to tell us that the mercs are bad guys.
yeah.
But the other
That's true.
guy, the other cop, was entertaining, and I think like a goofy, jaded, but still kind of focused cop guy, detective.
He felt like he was in the right movie. Like he was in the right movie, the movie that I wanted to see.
Yeah, so that's a good pickup because he was a lone bright spot for me as well.
Al Madrigal. I'm gonna give him a shout out. Al Madrigal.
Bless me.
What?
Thank
What?
me. I sneezed.
Oh, God bless you.
I'm welcome. Yeah, it's like a Kanye West joke. He says, "Bless me, thank me, I'm welcome," because he thinks he's a god, a Jesus.
Good for him.
Anyways, excuse me.
I love
Allergy
it, dude.
season's kicking my butt.
How
what were
dare
we
you?
saying? Yeah,
I was talking about Al Madrigal. I just wanted to throw his name out there because he deserves it.
Yeah, good on him.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm trying to rack my brain for good things.
Honestly,
I
it's just
personally kind of thought the murky thermo vision. I thought it kind of looked cool. Like it didn't.
like the echolocation.
Yeah, or like the shimmery thing with the movement and how they use their powers.
Yeah.
It's super dated and stuff, but it's like this is fun to see the motion. Like this is fun for my eyes, I guess. That's not a big compliment by any means. But I'm digging deep here.
I didn't like it. I don't think it's a very good movie.
No, it's a trash movie. It's dull.
I don't even know. I don't even know how fun it would be to like get drunk or get high or get a pizza and hang out with your friends and watch.
No, it's not. It's 100% not. And like this
Yeah.
movie will fall into obscurity. You know, it's just not that movie. It's the worst kind of bad. And I can quickly glance what we've covered, and I can definitely say it's a movie that is super dull and I will never watch again. I mean, Thanksgiving. I think we covered that movie. Like,
Yeah.
garbage. Absolute garbage. But, like, there's stuff there, you know? I don't know. Like, I'm going through the bad movies, and I don't think we've watched a whole lot of them. You know, I think we tried to. The After Earth or whatever. The
We didn't watch
Scientology
After
movie.
Earth.
Or the Scientology movie.
What are you talking about, bud?
The John Travolta Scientology movie.
Oh, Battlefield Earth.
Yeah, Battlefield Earth. Like, I would watch that again. Like, that's a good kind of bad. That's good to watch with your friends. And that's like historically one of the worst movies out there. Army of the Dead, didn't like it, but I'm more likely to. I could rewatch that. Like,
But that actually had good action at least, even if it didn't
True.
make any sense. I would say
And
that this movie didn't have great action.
no,
on a
I
whole.
think the slow-mo stuff was. It's like this guy moves so fast that we're going to slow-mo so you can see it. And they had these weird manufactured oneers.
Yeah.
And again, there's just no. They tried to do a kind of thriller horror scene in the container ship with the mercs. Like
They did it.
he's stalking them.
You
and
thought it
like,
worked?
No, I'm saying it didn't. Like,
It was
I'm talking about.
well-
I'm just
way
talking
too
about,
lit.
talking about the action being bad.
Yeah.
And that was just bad action, bad suspense. Like I just didn't care at that point already. Like our titular character is beast moding out. He finally has the power, and I'm already bored of it. You know.
Yeah. He's
And-
already
and it's not done well. On top,
Yeah.
like that, in part of why I feel like that. Ugh.
It's a garbage movie. I'm also just again I can't say enough how disappointed I am. Like I feel like I was like okay yeah, but like I was so disappointed by the time we got to the the fucking post-credit scene. I was disappointed that they teased her becoming a vampire because nobody is brave enough to kill a character. Also, and/or create a good character that's worth dying because she existed just to be a sacrifice for him.
Yeah.
Terrible character. And then also just like sullying Michael Keaton's good like Vulture. Like garbage.
Yep. I mean,
Hated it.
I think it's a feat that we've been able to chat about this movie for 50 minutes ish.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm ready to be done. If you are,
I'm done.
All right. What'd you give it? I guess is the final.
I'm gonna give it one vampire bat fang out of 5.
All right. I gave it.
I hate it.
I originally gave it a 2 because it's like competently made to an extent. Like it's not incoherent, you know. So it's like there's a quality of it, not great quality, but I don't know. But I did bump it down to a 1.5 now.
Yeah.
And that 1.5 is just holding on to the fact that it is somewhat a competent, coherent thing, but at its worst, most boring, dullest form. So I think that's probably one of the worst 1.5 star ratings ever given on the planet by human. And I'm the one that did it, right there. So what have you been watching since last we met?
I've been continuing to watch Winning Time, the Lakers dynasty thing. I feel like there was something else, but I think I'm lying. Fuck, I can't remember what I've been watching.
Let's say too bad there isn't a tracking app.
I know.
I don't actually
Sponsored.
care, but I like building this narrative that I'm offended that you don't use
I
this
get
app.
it.
I like.
I think it's a good app. I just literally forgot. I
Yeah.
keep forgetting.
It's like a habitual thing for me. It's dopamine release. It's like, oh yes, add a movie. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I
No, I
it's
understand
part of my
it, too.
biology now in terms of how I use it.
Well, because I also it's like I was in the middle of I directed a show. I directed Little Shop of Horrors, and that was pretty all encompassing.
Yeah.
I've been keeping up with Moon Knight.
Yeah, I've seen 2 episodes. Looking forward to watching more of that myself. I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff.
And it does the CGI isn't dope, but the rest of it is shot big enough, or it feels like it doesn't feel like a show. Again, besides the CGI, but the CGI still works for me. I think I kind of like the cartoon, clay-y look of both the Moon Knight and the god. I forgot his name, like Khonshu. But yeah, I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Ugh, I want to see that so bad.
Very good movie. And then I saw Treasure Planet on the plane ride out to Denver. Fun.
Ooh,
Fun
Treasure
little flick.
Planet.
I never really watched it. That song in that is the most catchy, not catchy song I've ever heard. It's very weird. And then I saw Captain America: Civil War again on my slow rewatch of Marvel.
Captain America: Civil War.
And then Shooter, starring Marcus Wahlberg.
Marcus Wahlberg.
Yeah. And that movie is so dated in a fun way. It's just I don't know. It's a weird movie, but it's interesting because I believe it's Antoine Fuqua. I don't know how to say that name.
I think it's Antoine Fuqua.
Fuqua?
I know who you're talking about. Training Day.
But yeah, he directed that, but he's also directing Terminal List, which is the new Amazon show with Chris Pratt. And it's very interesting because the Terminal List story is it's a book series, and I like it. It's written by a Navy SEAL guy. And it's Terminal List is just Shooter, but written by someone who did all the things. They based all their experiences. It's feels more authentic, I guess, in terms of the
Gotcha.
the methods of killing and reconnaissance and
Yeah.
stuff. Where Shooter
Yeah.
feels dated and actually more comic booky now. So it's going to be interesting to watch The Terminalist when that's out on Amazon. But it has some of the most brutal kill scenes in it. So,
Oh.
yeah.
In Terminalist or in...
In Terminalist, yeah.
Oh,
It's
gotcha.
It's like, I mean, I don't think anyone here is
Don't
going to read The Terminalist or maybe watch the
might.
show, but it's like,
might
okay,
not read
I
the
won't
book.
rue it, but it's an old Native American torture execution technique, and it's
Oh,
just
wow.
twisted. It feels like something that would be in Bone Tomahawk, like that, like body horror. It's like,
Yeah.
but it's a thing that's real neat in Terminalist. Anyways, let's talk about this too long.
Yeah, you're good.
It was just very interesting. It brought up like, oh, that makes sense why they got Antoine Fuqua
Wait,
to do
hold on.
Terminalist from Shooter. What are you looking up?
I'm looking and seeing if Tyrese has a cyborg arm in one of these shots in the trailer.
No.
Hold on. Hold for confirmation, not confirmation.
There's just like
Yo,
like a
he's got some sort of fucking something in this
Whoa.
in the one of these trailers. Hold on. Look at this fucking shit. I gotta drop this in there. Here, look at it. Send to him. Send it. I don't want to type anything. Look at that screenshot.
Oh.
What is that?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are confirming that Patrick saw in an old trailer that Tyrese has a cyber arm.
Some sort of something.
With maybe some kind of blood movement. I don't know. Wow.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Also, Matt Smith is going to be in the Game of Thrones movie or show. The new Game
that's
of Thrones
right.
show.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he might be.
He's going to be a Targaryen.
Yeah, is he one of the main ones?
I think so, yeah. Well, he's a Targaryen, so yeah.
What's is it Aegon? Is he Aegon Targaryen?
He might be Aemon.
I need to look into my history of He's
Aemon.
Daemon
Aemon.
Targaryen.
Daemon. He's Daemon Targaryen.
Daemon.
If you were Sony, would you have just killed this movie? They spent like almost $100 million on it. But it's like, could you just kill this movie and just not have it come out? But you can't.
I like on one hand, yes, it will make at least. I mean, it should make the money back, so you're like zero in the green out of the black. But also like, and again, it's me, not millions of people that watch these things. But like for me personally, it felt like a big. I lost a lot of trust, I guess, in them and their ability to like. This is just like what
To tell good stories.
Yeah, it's like I'm really like. It's just such a stark contrast, and even like DC is starting to kind of get their shit together too.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's a very stark like what the fuck, like the formula is out there, guys. Just do the
Like,
formula,
or just tell a good story like that. It's
Yeah.
like, oof, like just tell a good story, bro. I'm sorry.
It's all it takes. So easy.
Well,
I mean, and in theory, it should be for professionals, and there's enough stuff out there.
Yeah,
to have an idea. But again, to call something easy and not do it is a whole different thing too.
yeah, that's
But
also true.
thank you guys
I mean-
for listening and hanging out. Sorry we missed you last week. Again, lots of travel on my end. Patrick's ran a show. Just busy.
Busy stuff, guys. We'll get back on schedule and talk about some movies and jazz and
there's tons of stuff to talk about.
there's plenty of
It's
jazz
interesting
out there.
having started this podcast during a pandemic and the contrast of like searching for things to talk about, and then now it's like, oh, okay, it's just landing in our laps. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll figure out we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do for episode 100. It's gonna be something that will probably be not maybe as big an event as you might think.
yeah, fortunately, the show 100 is a kind of not great TV show. So we're not going to do that. That would be perfect.
Okay,
though.
cool. Yeah. That's a good connection right there.
Yeah. I've seen it. I enjoyed it kind of, but it's like CW shows. It's like the first 10 episodes, like they get you with the show's hook, and then you
Promise.
like sick. This is cool. Like the setup, good drama, and then it keeps going for another 30 episodes of that same story.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
All right.
Like Riverdale.
All right. I don't know what you're talking about, but
Riverdale is like a whole like teen. It was like
gotcha.
It was like what's that like Northwest, like
Archie.
weird supernatural kind of show.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks is that
Twin
it?
Peaks.
Yeah, it was like a wannabe Twin Peaks, and it was like kind of cool
Oh.
and interesting. And then it just, when I realized like I was not even halfway through the season, I was like, this is fucking bullshit. Anyways, as they
As they say in New York City. In Morbius, it's New York City, baby. Hey, get over here. Quit sucking my blood. I need it for my body.
Get over here. Stop sucking my blood.
Hey, come, stop sucking my blood. Come on. I got a blood deficiency. I'm deficient in it. It's not good. Don't drink it.
They should have like a super cartoon New York accent on one of these things.
Oh, hey, buddy. Hey, get out of here. Get. Hey, my blood is just bagels. Get out of here, bud.
Ooh, bagels because good water, but blood is water.
Bagels, blood is water. Bagels is
Now
blood.
I'm doing a Boston accent. All right.
Well, that's where you. Okay, bye. I love you.